All right, we're back in session and we are streaming live, so just so you know. All right, we're gonna have a discussion with Pocatello Regional Transit about ridership and funding sources. Please state your names and let's talk.
Skylar Beatty, I'm the Public Transit Director with the City of Pocatello for the Public Transit Department, but better known as Pocatello Regional Transit.
I'm Tara Contreras. I'm with CCOG and I'm the Mobility Manager.
Okay. Well, honestly, when we was going through our budget this year, we seen the funds that Bannock County gives to this, and we've never heard it from any of you, so
Sure.
we thought we'd like to know.
Well, great. Well, I appreciate the invitation, and with the kind of the short time we had, we tried to put together the best numbers that we could so that they present to you. It gets a little unique for Bannock County because in all of our other rural areas, there's specific areas, and so we can pinpoint the ridership exactly. Where Bannock County gets a little, obviously, with the city limits, we get intertwined with our urban program, and so ultimately, just to give you an idea, with the contribution that the county gives, we split that in half. Half goes to our urban program and half goes to the rural program. And because again, it gets a little intertwined. So to calculate our ridership, we have to go through manually, pinpoint and pull out all of those that are really specific just to rural. And that was essentially what I was asked to do, is to present the numbers for just the rural program. And so with that, of course, our last year was not a good representation because of COVID. I think it probably affected everyone. And so we're bringing the numbers from fiscal year 2019, which probably really more accurately represents our ridership. So in fiscal year 2019, we had just over 2,700 boardings, and that is about the best number I have right now because they're actually still calculating numbers. So it's actually more than that, but I'm going to give you just over 2,700 boardings because I want to be underwriter than too many.
Okay.
Of that ridership, that really consists of mostly seniors. We have the senior center in Lava that we used to do a lot of trips for. COVID has changed a lot of that. We do have some Medicaid transportation that we do, and we also have some general public that ride throughout the county. The majority is from Lava Hot Springs and McAllen, and also some in the community. So the other, I think I was asked to present the numbers from other counties that contribute to our system. As you are aware, we operate really in southeast Idaho, so we're kind of pretty widespread for our system. So Bannock County contributes the most, of just over the 10,000 as you're aware of. Again, we split that between our urban program and our rural program. And as I give you these numbers, I'll explain the differences of why some are more or less. Caribou County is $1,700. Franklin County is $8,250. Oneida County is $1,750, and Power County is $3,200. And so the reason with the differences there is based on the ridership that we have. Franklin County, we have a lot of Medicaid transportation. So any Medicaid transportation that we do counts as match for the grants that we have. So to give you an idea with the federal transit, any service that we provide for our operating costs is 50% covered by match, or in fact 50% by match, 50% by federal grants, just to give you an idea. Our vehicles, it's a similar ratio with the grants, but it's 80% grants, 20% match for that. And so that's why you'll see the different levels of contributions, because it all depends on the services we're providing. Blackfoot, the county's never contributed any money, and the city hasn't either. And the biggest reason for that is because they provide parking for us and a substation, so that's essentially kind of their contribution to help. But also the ridership that we have there, almost the majority of everything is all Medicaid, so it's kind of self-generating, if you will, for the funding. And so that's kind of Bannock or Power County for $3,200. Most of all the transportation we do there is with senior citizens, and the majority of what we're doing in Bannock County as well is senior citizens.
Most of your bus drivers are senior citizens.
Hey, you know what? That used to be, we used to have a lot of college students. We have a lot of retirees now.
I know a lot of them.
Buses send them our way.
I know a lot of them.
Yes.
I live in Aiken.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, then you know a few of them from over there. And then I also wanted to bring the pamphlet specifically for rural Bannock County, and then also the senior citizen rider guide there. That is essentially a guide for any of our seniors that ride. It kind of helps them to know how to get to point A to point B using our system. So you can see from the brochure there the costs and so forth, some of the information on how to ride.
Do you have the numbers, your ridership numbers for the other counties as well?
I can get those for you. I would have to bring that, but I can certainly get that for you.
Yeah, if you would
Sure.
email us out, that'd be great.
Sure, okay.
So I have to ask, you said urban versus rural, and so even though I live in Pocatello, I live up by the Hope Arena.
Sure.
I always have this discussion with all the municipalities, that one municipality should not be subsidized by the rest of the county.
Sure.
So you said you split half the funds in the urban and half the funds in rural. Why does the county, do we subsidize them in the urban core when we are concerned with the outside municipality boundary?
Yeah, and the reason why we do that is because we have a lot of residents from the county or that are in Pocatello that are going from either or. Generally, it's the services that are coming in, but because it's so intertwined, what ends up happening is if it's, say, it's Ecom or sometimes McCammon, we're pulling an urban vehicle to go and do that service because we're in closer proximity than other vehicles and buses. So essentially, we've done that to help bring it all together, if that makes sense. But it's not for just urban services, if that makes sense. It's for intertwined services.
Okay.
So I haven't read through this, but you don't have regular routes? This is a call for service? or-
Yes, everything outside of the Pocatello city limits, essentially, from Pocatello and Chubbuck, that has, so we have two different modes of service, if you will. It's a fixed route service, which is buses that do a circle, essentially the same time points every hour throughout the day. Everything outside of that, outside of Pocatello, Chubbuck, we consider our rural program, and everything is door-to-door service. With the exception, we have a commuter route in Preston that goes from Preston to Logan. And this next year, we're anticipating starting a commuter route from Pocatello and American Falls to essentially go around west.
How much does Chubbuck pay? Just curious.
$43,000.
Okay.
Essentially, they're paying the contribution of service that we're providing.
And then you have a regular route to Blackfoot, or? is it
We have a
just-
commuter route that goes from Pocatello and Blackfoot in the morning and then also in the late afternoon. And then the routes that we have up there, again, is all door-to-door scheduled rides. But nothing that's dedicated as far as just running in circles and straight.
Have you seen any change in the ridership for your commuter routes, or have they been kind of constant the last?
Well, again, if we go up last year, that, everything was
Right.
great.
Throw
But
that
yeah,
out.
no, we're always like this. We're up and down. Our Blackfoot commuter averages between 3 to 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's up and down depending on what everyone works with. And then I should say in Blackfoot, they are actually one that's considering doing a fixed route, similar to what we have in Pocatello here, and the city of Blackfoot is looking at contributing, if we were to move forward with that, right around $45,000 to make that happen. So it's an expensive service, but it's, they feel that the demand is there and something they're looking at.
Good. Yep.
And I guess to give you an idea, we try to coordinate a lot with our senior centers. I was just talking with Rosie and with the Lava Senior Center, you may be familiar with her. And we used to do regular service going to that senior center, and since COVID, that really changed, and we don't provide service there because the seniors aren't going out. And the Downey Senior Center closed, and so we've been working actually with Mike at CCOG and some of the seniors with developing a route that will actually be able to pick them up and either go to the Lab Senior Center or Lava or possibly both, depending on what we might have. So there's a lot of coordinating, a lot of different transportation needs that are out there, and for us, it really comes down to grouping all of our trips, because individual trips get pretty hard to do.
There was a time when McCammon was talking pretty serious about picking up where Downey left off. I don't know,
Yeah.
haven't heard anything from it for a while.
Well, and I had done a lot of work with Minter Hall out there at Carlene, and, you know, they were hoping with the fire department, or the fire station, we're converting that over, and she'd actually reached out to me. Her husband used to be our dispatcher, wondering about some service there, and I said, absolutely, but we need Brad to come work for us to drive that too.
Both of them in the family are pretty connected to the city.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Great.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yep.
Like I say, we just had some questions.
When we see line items that have no real explanation besides that, I mean, we know kind of what it is, but what is kind of the so what behind it?
Sure. You know, I'd be happy to come on an annual basis if you'd like to kind of report where our service is at, things we're looking at. Because again, I can tell you in the public transit world, especially our rural program, it changes every single year of what we're doing and who we're serving, because the needs are all different. Another just little, and the reason why I kind of say our numbers get a little tricky trying to pull everything together is we have a route in Silk Spring that actually brings Medicaid clients down, and so along the way to coordinate our services, we'll do trips, we'll pick up people in Lava or McCammon or Eaton along the way and try to intertwine that the best we can. So it gets a little tricky trying to pull our numbers that are just specific to that.
Okay, so I just have one last question.
Yes.
If you received invitations for the Bannock County Fair Parade or the Income Parade, would you have vehicles in those parades?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
If you ever seen our green trolley, that's our parade vehicle. We have a lot of restrictions under the federal grants with the Federal Transit Administration, what we can or can't do, but parades is that exception that we can participate in. I can tell you August 7th is the American Falls Days, and we always send the trolley over there, the seniors over there, we'll all hop on our trolley and go through the parade with that. So we'll be in the 4th of July parade this next weekend, and so absolutely we do that.
Well, I seen it in the parade, the 4th of July parade in
Okay.
Income more than once.
Yeah.
You probably know why.
Yeah, we'll typically send the trolley, that's usually the highlight of it.
But I've never seen it down at our
Bannock County
Bannock
Fair.
County Fair
Yeah.
in Downey.
It's August 1st this year, I think is when it is.
Anyway, I just throwing that out there a little bit.
Yeah, well, I tell you what we'd love to do is to get the representation from even the seniors down there to ride that and go through that. We'd love to do that.
Well, you just put the fair board on it, I think most of them qualify.
That works too. And we can train one of you guys to drive.
I can drive it. I'll drive it.
Oh, I could drive it. I don't have a CDL, but I can drive it. But I have a connection with one of your drivers. He lives in Income. So, all right, thank you. And we will. We'll get you on the schedule on an annual basis.
Great.
So you can come. Like I said, we've tried to do that with everybody that we give funds to.
Yep.
So we can answer to the public also.
And if I could just expand a little bit with Tara here, so she does our mobility management. I don't know if any of you knew Molly Swallow. But you may have. So she was our past mobility manager, and she's since got another job, and so now it's Tara, and she does a lot. She'll be doing a lot of the coordinating and identifying the needs of those that need transportation and helping us coordinate a lot of that.
So that's if you do see a need in the rural areas, you know, that's where we want to address it and see if we can increase ridership there, increase our programs out there. Like right now we have a summer youth program here for the fixed route. So we really want to do things that encourage, you know, if people can start riding now, then hopefully they'll be riders when they're older, and encourage more people to ride. Right now we have a lot of people that are a need-based, and we want to get those people that are choice, increase that type of ridership too. So, and also if you just see a need, because sometimes we're not aware of the need, and if we can, as Skylar said, if we can accommodate and intertwine stuff, sounds like we're pretty willing to do that.
And one thing I just want to mention too, as elected officials, as I say, we have a lot of restrictions, but one thing that we do have is every year under federal transit, we're allowed 80 hours of charter service specific to elected officials. So if you have an official meeting, that you're going to McCammon or something like that, that service that we can provide free of charge to transport, use the commissioners and all. So we've done it with McCammon and a few others, so, but if that's ever a need, let us know.
Town hall meeting on the trolley.
I don't know if we use the trolley, but.
We got the sheriff behind you. He'll
Yeah.
jump on board.
There we go.
Some of the counties, like yesterday, talked about using it to tour like disaster areas or see how things are going. So we need to get a cool group of people to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
They warned me about wearing stripes. And then you guys walked in.
Saying, I thought somebody got out. No, it's fine. I'll be here.
You're transporting prisoners now, and when we come by the door,
Stripes was like,
they're just gonna insult Terrell. You fit in.
let's not wear stripes in this building and sit out in front of a courtroom. You never know.
All right, Scott.
Oh, you sit over here.
The friendly table.
The friendly table.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Scott Crowther, Business Manager and Events Director. We awarded the RFP, or you awarded the RFP to Polar Freeze to run the sports concession stand that's in the main, kind of the main body of the wellness complex. We have worked with legal to draft up a contract, and I think that it's a pretty solid contract for the remainder of the year. I had Polar Freeze and their team take a look at it. They've looked at it and signed it. Now I present it to you guys for your approval and signature. Just some points of clarification. It still allows us to be the contract, or be the agent for Coca-Cola and Orion, and it also allows for 18% net proceeds for this year.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Polar Freeze contract as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously.
Wait.
Like I should throw like a disappearing bomb.
Letter, Scott.
Thank you. Sheriff.
I sent you an email.
I
You're in
haven't
it.
seen it. I haven't
I
seen
just sent it to you.
Okay.
I just sent stuff. You're in a Tupperware.
Now I know what you're talking about. You sent me with some visuals on it?
Yeah, yeah. It's actually the
Okay.
listing of it. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It doesn't have a mechanical safety. It's the cop version.
okay. Sheriff Manu and Chief Deputy Dahlquist here with the Bannock County Sheriff's Office. So today we've got donation that was made from the Lava Lions to the Bannock County Sheriff's Office to purchase a couple items that we've had on our current budget request. So it's an item that we could probably take off of that, depending on how we're allowed to spend this money. But we're seeking to use this money now and adjust our budget request with
So-
the current one.
I guess my only question, I thought I read somewhere in here about having to reopen the budget.
What we're gonna do is receive the money in, we'll watch the budget and see if we need to open the budget for it. It's only $14,000.
Yeah.
So the sheriff's office doesn't usually get that close at the end. But what I'll do is just monitor it and watch, and if by chance we need to open the budget for it, we'll do that with the normal process in September.
Okay. I didn't want to have to do it just special for 14.
Well, we weren't,
Open and close.
we
the
weren't
budget.
sure how we were gonna do this, so we just kinda left it up to you guys.
What are you going to use the money for?
It's a new software program to move from the cloud-based storage to a more localized server that'll store all of our photos, excuse me.
Why are you moving from the cloud to local?
Just because it's more secure for us as far as, and accessibility and less hands into our, because it was more, we had a lot of cloud accounts for each deputy. Now it's going to be all centralized. So, and it's cheaper. In the long run, we were paying per cloud account, and it's a lot more cost effective doing it this way.
Did you talk to Adam about that?
No.
Go through that.
Would you just double check with him?
Mhm.
I mean, I'm okay with this, if you get his sign off on it, that it's the best thing, because to me, going off the cloud is contrary to what the rest of the world is doing, so that's why I just question that.
Yeah, and it's more because of what's being stored in there.
And
all
again,
that
I
space.
kind of question that, so again, if you just run it past Adam and he
Mhm.
thinks that's the best choice, then I'm all for it.
And then,
That was requested in FY '22 budget, so that's probably why it sounds like the cart before the horse, but it's really not, because was it something that they were gonna focus on yet? So,
Right.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah,
and
just
then
have
the other 3,000 were for point and shoot cameras. Simplified
Aren't
ones.
those attached to that? Isn't that a point to a camera?
Yeah. So, and it was kind of a surprise to us. They just kind of called us, asked me for a wish list and cost. And I thought, we'll probably get the cameras. They pointed up 14,000. I'm like, whoa. So,
How many souls did you sell?
Yeah.
I mean, who are you dealing with here? Our dealings of putting a walking path. We got a lot of visits and a lot.
It sucked the life out of Scott.
Man, it's just, I don't know.
Hey, take it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we're gonna actually, on July 20th, we're going down there with we got a big check printed out and made to sign up and kind of do a big media release on there.
Wonderful. Cool.
So,
Yeah, I'm good with it. Just ask. You can just check
I will,
with Adam.
I'll have them touch
That's
base with
great.
Adam and kind of run down what they're doing as far as, and see what Adam thinks of it, so.
Okay, great.
Well,
Thank you.
All programs need to go through that.
Well,
Anything IT needs to go through.
and I get if you have some very sensitive material that you actually don't want more than a very few people
Right.
accessing. But then, like Jeff said, then the question is making sure it's not held in a single point. So if that point is breached or goes down, you don't lose your data. And that's the
Right.
point. The cloud isn't kept in one point, so you can never lose it. And that's why it's just that conversation.
And I think it was more of that and a cost savings thing for them. For us, it was because each deputy had a cloud account, and it was, as far as cost, it was more effective as well.
And I can't answer that,
Yeah.
it just seems contrary to what everything else is going, so. If you just check, then I'm happy.
Make sure that they have a good run so we're taken care of.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So how do you want us to code this? I guess that was the other question.
I'll
As
look
far
at
as-
these.
Okay.
If you coded and
The
brought
software
this.
will be 15 and the cameras will be, I think, critical.
Okay.
Money's already been deposited into the justice fund, and then I'll get a copy of the EOC and monitor, and if we open the budget at the end of the year with anything else, it just saves publication costs to do it once. Plus, then we'll use net revenue.
Sweet. Guess we're at, that's it? We good?
That's it for us. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hold on a second.
We will be at recess until 3 o'clock.
There you go. Come here. I found it specifically for you guys. This is the